Hello there and welcome back. This video is for those of you who have been following the income store story. I've been getting a lot of messages as of late. There's a lot of people wondering what's going on. Everything that has gone on in the world lately is definitely having an impact on the court system. Business is just not happening as usual. Though as things open up, we're starting to see more movement. Now normally I wouldn't have made a whole video about the status of these cases, but given how quiet it has been and the fact that there was just recently some movement, I thought it was worthwhile. So I've jumped here quickly into my computer because I wanted to see if the receiver had posted anything for the investors that was more up to date than the March 30 filings. And I didn't see anything. So I went to Pacer, and for the first time in about a month, I did find that something had been filed. It is a joint status report. And honestly, there aren't giant bells and whistles here for you. Mostly what this is about is to get the case back on track. The status report identifies which motions still need to be ruled on and helps establish dates for when things will get done. So specifically, it notes when discovery is going to start moving along. And when I say discovery, I mean the exchange of documents and other information requested by the parties. I would also note that the claims administration process and the distribution plan does not appear to have been approved. And it doesn't look like the pleadings are even closed yet on that process. The receiver's application to get paid has also not been ruled on. And to no surprise, the receiver notes that she hasn't been paid and wants a telephonic conference with the court, which means she wants to get this in front of the court right now. I would also note in the very end of this that there's a small paragraph about settlement efforts. It notes that the SEC and the receiver have discussed potential terms for settlement and have actually exchanged draft settlement papers, but that settlement of the SEC's claims against Ken Courtright appears unlikely at this point. So perhaps the defendant company will find a way out of this case and maybe could continue, but against Ken Courtright personally, it doesn't look like there's any settlement discussions, meaningful discussions, going on right now. I went over and checked out the criminal case against Ken Courtright personally that was filed this year in 2020, and it does not look like it's gone anywhere really significantly either. When all the stuff with COVID went down, the government filed a motion to extend the amount of time that it had to indict the case, meaning to take it to a grand jury and get a charging instrument, an indictment, that it could use to move forward. And that deadline hasn't even passed yet. They have until June 4th, and it is unclear to me at this point whether or not they are intending on meeting that deadline or if they will be filing another motion to extend or punting on the case. It's hard to say at this point. People ask a lot of questions about the criminal side of it, and I suspect that there are things going on behind the scene. But outwardly in the court, nothing is really appearing to move, and it's probably because of what's going on in the world. As for the class action, they have also recently filed a status report, and they're basically waiting to move forward once the defendants have filed their answer or initial responses to the complaint, and that initial deadline isn't until July. I would expect to see discovery happening soon, but there aren't a whole lot of sparks flying. The status report also notes that the parties have not engaged in settlement efforts, and it doesn't look like they're planning on trying to resolve anything anytime soon. We have a lot of deadlines coming up in early June, so I'm definitely going to put this on the back burner and then check in again after about the first week of June. Hopefully we will know more then about the claims distribution process, and hopefully the government will have made a decision about whether or not it plans to move forward in the criminal case or not. Perhaps if we get some clarity on those two specific points, the people involved in this situation will have a little more clarity about what is going to happen next. If you want to know more about this situation, I recommend that you check the playlist. I've been doing videos about this developing story since about January of this year, and I'd rather have you take a look at the playlist than cover all that ground again in these update videos. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you in the next one.